Hi guys, welcome to another Barb Stamps video. In today's video, I am going to make a super cute card for you that is part of my Sweet Stockings Create Where You Are class to go for the month of September. Here is a little marketing flyer that I made. So the class itself is going to be using the Sweet Stockings bundle. Now, of course, if you are not a fan of pets, you can easily make cards in the class without using pets. Now, there's going to be 4 different cards, and we're also going to have a baby card and then a card with no stockings whatsoever. We'll just use the presents. So if you're not into pets or animals, then you can still totally take this class and just make the couple cards that are going to have pets without the pets. Just like today's card that I'm going to share with you, you could totally make it without the pet. In addition to the bundle, I am going to be using the Cherry Cobbler and Gold ribbon, the Pool Party striped ribbon, of course the Sweet Stockings Designer Series paper, elegant faceted gems, and the matte decorative dots that coordinate with the whole thing. The kit itself includes half a roll of each ribbon, half a pack of the Designer Series paper, a full pack of the matte dots, and a half pack of the elegant faceted gems. That, in addition to a pre-cut cardstock kit to make 8 cards, you get 2 each of 4 of the designs, envelopes, and shipping. All that's included for $45. If you don't have the Sweet Stockings bundle and you want to add it on to your class, you can add that on with the kit plus the bundle for $106. All the links to purchase these items are in the description of this video. So let me kind of bring in, here are the ribbons, the Cherry Cobbler and Gold. Look at that shimmer on that. That is so pretty. And then of course this is adorable. Looks great with the pets, great with the baby card. Super exciting. Then we're going to use the matte decorative dots again because they coordinate with the whole suite. You'll get a full pack of that. And then we're going to use the elegant faceted gems and you'll get a half a package of this. The Sweet Stockings Designer Series paper, you'll notice that one side there are 4 patterns that have pets, and then the opposite sides do not have pets, and this does not have pets. So there's quite a variety of paper in this package if you're not a fan of pets. And then, of course, we have the coordinating colors: black, bumblebee, cherry cobbler, cinnamon cider, evening evergreen, old olive, and the pool party. So you'll get a half a pack of that also. So it's a pretty good deal. You get quite a few supplies in your kit, and then you get the PDF file emailed to you with the directions and links to all the videos to create the cards. Now here's the stamp set. It is super cute. Of course, if you're not a fan of pets, we can just block those out and you don't even have to see them, but there are so many other cute things in this set. We've got these adorable packages, of course, these cute stockings. We've got a Santa hat, the candy cane, a lot of sentiments, and then the dies. The dies are amazing. So in addition to getting 12 dies that cut out stamped images, the candy cane, the little pine bough, the hat, both presents, all 3 stockings, the 3 pets, you also get dies that don't necessarily cut out any stamped images. You get this fun tag. You get these little pieces here to decorate your stocking. You can see we've got the topper, the heel, and the toe, a star, a little bow, a little sprig, some holly, and some holly berries, and then another little fun tag. So the whole set is just amazing, and you're going to want to get the whole thing. So let me bring in the supplies for our first card and we'll get started. All right, so you're going to need some scraps of white. You're going to need a scrap to make the tag, and then some scraps for stamping and die cutting. And I just had these laying out here from another project, so here's my scraps. You're also going to need a piece of the Designer Series paper, and I already have cut mine. So for ease of, just to be able to show you how I cut it and to make it easy for you to see it, I'm using a solid piece of cardstock. So pretend this is this little pattern right here, just for display purposes right now, okay? And this measures 4 by a little less than 5. Then we have a strip of Designer Series paper, a 1x4, and a 4 by 5¼ inch layer for the inside of the card. We have a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of Cherry Cobbler as a layer, and then our card base is Pool Party, 5½ by 8½, and then here's our envelope. And I am going to be doing some stamping on it, so I am going to protect it from bleeding with that little white paper insert. So the first thing you want to do is to take your, pretend this is Designer Series paper, and you're going to slide it into your trimmer, and you're just going to cut it wonky. You're going to cut it at some diagonal direction, so just on some diagonals, okay? But the key to this is you want to keep these in order. So you would take this piece, you would slide it to the side, and you would leave it. Okay, then you're going to slide this over again and kind of try to do it the opposite direction. Okay, so this one we have a wider piece at the bottom, skinny at the top. Now we're having skinny at the top, wide at the bottom. Or opposite, skinny at the bottom, wide at the top. Okay, and then we'll do that again. Again, I'm just slightly twisting this. And then you just want to make sure you keep your, it's like a puzzle, so you want to keep them in order. And then finally, the bottom here, we're just going to do something like this. Okay. And so that is your cutting. So here's your pieces all in order. And like I said, I have already done this. And so here are my pieces. They're all in order so that when I put them on my card, I'm going to be able to keep them right. So we're going to slide those out. Those we don't need. And here are our pieces of paper. So then you're going to bring in your layer of cardstock. And what I like to do is use liquid glue. So then I have a little bit of wiggle room. If I place something and I don't like exactly where it is, I can move it. So we're going to start with this one at the top. Okay. But we are going to want a little bit of space in between each piece. Okay. So I don't know what this is. 1/16 of an inch or so, maybe a little larger. You're just going to need to eyeball it. Whatever looks good to you is what's going to be good. Okay. And doing this again. Leaving that slight border. You just want to kind of make sure that your little border that you're leaving between all the pieces is the same. Okay. There we go. And then your final piece, sometimes your final piece is too long, and so you need to cut it off. This one happens to be fine. I'll just end up cutting off the excess on the cherry cobbler layer. So it's not like a precise technique. There's a little bit of wiggle room with it. So you just have to be a little bit flexible. Okay. So that's what we have so far. So then you can go and take this to your trimmer and trim off all the excess, and I'll do that and be right back. All right, so there is our fun patterned layer that's going to go onto our card base. So now we need to do some stamping and coloring. So here's our scraps. I'm going to bring in my Memento ink pad. I've chosen to use the sweet little dog for this particular card, so I'm just going to stamp him on one of my scraps. He obviously is going to be needing a Santa hat, so I am going to give him a little Santa hat. Whoops. He will need to have a candy cane because it's Christmas. We all need candy canes at Christmas. And then finally, he needs a stocking to sit in. So here is our stocking. Let's just see if we can get all these on these scraps. Yep, looks like we did. Okay. I also need to get a couple of scraps of the Designer Series paper. Slide those over. So I've got these two patterns. Okay. And I need a scratch paper. I want to get the toe on this fun paper here. So I am going to just stamp this so that the whole toe will get onto the paper. There we go. Okay, we have our toe. And then I also want the top of the stocking on this pattern of the cherry cobbler. So I'm just going to stamp that on a little section there. And then these two I am actually going to fussy cut with my snips. So you'll just take your paper snips and just follow the lines. And when I cut around a thick layer of black, I do like to kind of cut right through the middle of it. And I guess this isn't super thick, but if I cut through the middle, then I find that it fits really well on my project. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. We don't need the stocking hanger, so we can snip that off. All right, so those two pieces are done. Then we can color our other pieces. And so this little cute friend here, I am going to use the two crumb cake Stampin' Blends along with the ivory. So I'm going to do the dark on his paws. This is crumb cake. I think I said that. And then I'm just going to kind of add some dark accents where there's kind of some natural shadows on his head. And then I'm going to come in with the light crumb cake and do the two outside sections of his face. All right, and then I'm going to bring in my ivory, and I'm just going to kind of color in the center of his face, just so he has a little bit of, you know, he's a multicolored sweetheart doggy here. And I'll bring in my pool party, and we will just get his eyes. So he is finished. We're going to bring in our hat. And I'm going to use the light cherry cobbler at first, and I'm going to kind of color the whole thing. Now my coloring is not so great when I can't sit with my reading glasses on and actually, you know, color good. So I'm then going to come back in with the dark, but I'm going to kind of leave a little space in the center there, so there's a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm also going to use the dark on the candy cane. Okay, and then finally the old olive light on the middle of the stocking here. And you can go over the lines because we're going to cover that up with our little pieces that we just cut out of the designer series paper. Just for ease of coloring, that's kind of helpful. Okay. We'll get that all colored, and then we're going to head over to the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to cut out the dog, the stocking, the candy cane, the Santa hat, as well as we're going to get a tag, one of those large tags out of white. So I'll be right back. All right, I am back. So here are all the die cut pieces that we needed. I also have my tag. Now, you'll notice that my tag is a little bit shorter than the tag itself. So what you do is you run the tag through just like it is, and then you decide how long you want it. And you just kind of feel around a little bit. So there'd be tag sticking up above this. Oops, I'm upside down. Because you can feel the die kind of lock into place with the other stitched lines, and then you can run that through. So you can decide, you know, wherever you want, you know, however long you want this label to be, just kind of move your die around on it, and it'll just click into place into those little lines you've already got stitched, and then you can run it through again and make it a little bit shorter. So you can see it's about 3/4 of an inch shorter than the original tag. Okay, so we are going to add the little stocking, of course, to the tag, but first I want to stamp my sentiment. And so since I am using this cute little dog, I am going to say Santa Paws is coming to town, and I'm going to stamp that in cherry cobbler. And I just re-inked my cherry cobbler pads, so it's pretty juicy. And when I do sentiments, I don't like them to be super juicy. So I'm just going to take the dull side of this Pampered Chef paring knife and kind of press some of that ink back down into the pad so that it's not going to be quite so dark. All right, so let's get our label in here. And we'll just kind of tap that into the ink. And then we're just going to kind of stamp it right down here at the very bottom of the tag. Just trying to center it from side to side, and just so it's right above the point there. There we go. Okay, so now we can go ahead and build our little scene. So I need to first add my toe and my stocking cuff that I cut out of the designer series paper to the stocking. So I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue to both those areas. And then I'm just going to fit my pieces where they belong. That looks pretty good. And then the cuff here, get that on. I just love paper piecing. I think it's the coolest technique, and it's so simple. Anybody can do it. You don't need any special equipment, just a pair of scissors. All right, so let's go ahead and, well, let's add our little friendly doggy here. Just going to add a little bit of glue to the area where his paws are. And then he is just going to kind of be at the top of the stocking. Yep, that's cute. Okay, and then we need to add his little Santa hat again, just a little bit of glue right there on the brim. And then we'll just kind of put that on just a tiny bit cockeyed. And then his little candy cane, we're just going to add a little bit of glue down there to the bottom of the candy cane. And we will just have that sort of coming out right behind him. So we have our cute little scene built here. Now we can go ahead and add some dimensionals. I'm just going to go one about like that, because I think his little hat is going to be above my label, and that's totally fine. Yep. All right, so we'll kind of try to center the stocking, angle it a tiny bit, and then that is going to go right here on the front. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. So we'll add some dimensionals to the back of the stocking. There we go. And then we'll get this centered. And I love how this background looks with the papers kind of cut on the diagonal. I'm going to move it over to the right just a hair, because I did want to bring in a bow. So I'm going to use the Pool Party striped ribbon for this. And I like to just take my bow or my ribbon and make 2 loops, cross them, and then tuck it through. And then you can just manipulate it by pulling on the loops to get it as big as you want. I've already done that, and I have mine right here. So I kind of thought I might just add it right to the side of the label, just like that. So let me get some glue dots. Tighten that up just a bit. And then we need to snip off this little section here. There, to kind of make it even. And then we will add a glue dot to the back of this bow. And we'll just kind of add that right to the side there. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. You know what else we could do? We could bring in some of these elegant faceted gems. And you can see I barely have any left on this particular sheet. But we have some of these clear faceted ones, which are kind of fun. So perhaps we could just add a few just for a little bit of light catching. Ah, get off there. Oh, wow, that just jumped right up there, didn't it? And maybe one up here. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Okay, so now we need to add this to the front. So let's go ahead and just do that with some liquid glue. So I think we've got enough dimension with our stocking popped up as well as our tag. Okay. And then we can add our bit of glue to the bottom of the inside layer here. There we go. I think that piece of paper is a tad bit too long. Not a problem. We will just snip that off, and then we can just add this to the inside of the card. Okay. There we go with that. And then I think we have one more little sentiment here from the stamp set. It says, sending lots of love. So I thought we could do that in the cherry cobbler. And we'll use that same spot where I already kind of made the ink not so bold. And where do I want to put this? Try to center it. There we go, like that. And then we could bring in this little tiny star trio that is included in the stamp set, and some bumblebee ink. And maybe we could just add a few little stars to the inside here. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so let's set this aside so we can do our stamping on our envelope. So I've got an envelope here, and I just thought what I could do is just do that same stocking on the front. Now I did put a piece of cardstock inside my envelope so it doesn't bleed. And we're going to use the same stocking, so I'm going to ink that up in Memento. And we'll just stamp that right here in the corner. And while that dries just a moment, I am going to put my stuff away. All right, so we're just going to use the same colors that we used on the inside of the card. So we're just going to use some cherry cobbler. I've got the light one here. Got the olive again. Now this time we're going to have to be a little more careful when you're coloring. And finally, our pool party. Okay, so we're done. So we have our, and now the reason I put that inside was so that if it was going to bleed, it would bleed onto my cardstock and not to the back of the envelope. So look at that. That is so cute. So we have our cute little Santa Paws card with our fun cut cardstock or designer series paper. And then we have some fun on the inside. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to purchase this class, all the details are in the description of this video. Please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a great day.